background, so I'm hoping there's not going to be any loud crashes or anything.
Don't worry. Hello and welcome to Business as Unusual. This is episode 9. My name is Megan from Greater London Properties. I hope you and your family are all well. Just for those newcomers that are tuning in today, to give you a little bit of background about what we're doing, Greater London Properties set up Central London's lockdown support group. This is mainly to support businesses, to give them a platform. If you're open, please post on there, let us know what you're doing. If you're closed but still generating revenue, then that's brilliant. People want to hear about it. People want to support you. And also different companies and organisations which are supporting charities, because I know that there's a lot out there at the moment, which is absolutely great. We started doing these live chats almost for 10 days now. We've been doing them at 11:30 every single weekday. If you've missed any of the last ones, they are all posted as a series on our Greater London Properties page. So please catch up if you feel like you want to, and get in touch because we're doing it for another week after this as well. So yeah, if you want to come on, let me know. Today we are speaking with the lovely Jessica Cooper. Jessica Cooper, or Jess, is from Coop Doggy Dog, which is her own business that she set up last year. And she is a local dog walker, pet owner, and all-round animal lover. I'm really excited to speak to you today, Jess. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. It's good to talk to
you. So, Jess, how are you finding? Like, how did you get into this business in the first place? Tell us a little bit more about your background and how you've got to where you are.
Okay then. So since I graduated uni 10-ish years ago, I worked in insurance and finance. I kind of came to a point last year where I thought, I'm not really sure why I'm doing this anymore. It's not, it's not really making me happy. I didn't ever find it particularly interesting. It was just something I kind of went into after uni because it seemed like a very viable career opportunity. And then, but I'd always really wanted to work with animals, and I'd always loved animals. I've always had pets. I've always been the go-to person to look after everyone's pets, so I'm going to try and channel something into this and make something happen from it.
Oh, that's brilliant. And how many pets have you got yourself, just out of interest?
We just got a dog and a cat called Elvis.
Oh, that's so cute. Just to put it out there nice and early, your website really made me laugh. I love how original it is. The website is coopdoggydog.co.uk, and Jess has made it really original. You can listen to Snoop Dogg whilst you're on the website. And Meet the Pack. I'm not going to ruin it for everyone, but Meet the Pack is brilliant.
Yeah, well, I've always been a big hip hop fan, so when I came up with the name Coop Doggy Dog, I think the business was more born from the name than the name from the business. So I carried on with the hip hop theme. So yeah, definitely check out the music.
Oh, that's brilliant. So where are you based? Where do you do most of your dog walking?
Okay, so I cover quite a wide area actually. So I live in King's Cross, but I travel all the way from Marylebone to Dalston Junction and anywhere in between, basically. It's just me and my bike, and I plod from location to location, picking up my pups, and we stay very local to wherever the dogs I'm picking up are from. I kind of started the business having noticed that most of the options for dog walking in London involve being kind of packed into a van and taking out to the country, which for some dogs absolutely fine, but a lot of dogs don't really respond well to that, being kept in quite close quarters, and they don't respond well to being in big groups. So I found that taking my dogs out to quite local areas that they know and they like works really well for them.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's good for dog owners to know that their dogs are being looked after properly.
If they wanted to, they would always know where they were. So yeah, I think for people's ease of mind, it's quite nice.
That's great, because because obviously property in Central London, we're a property group in Central London, and we cover all of those areas. So hopefully we've got a lot of residents that are tuning in today from all of the areas that you do cover. You can get new customers. So how are you different from the others? What do you do?
I think I set myself out. I think I will never walk more than 3 possibly maybe 4 dogs, depending on the dog. So I will always keep a really small group. More often than not, I'm offering a one-on-one service. Most of my dogs are dogs that haven't responded well to either larger groups or daycares. And generally also my clients tend to work non-standard 9 to 5, non-9 to 5 jobs as well. So I offer out of hours services. So on most days of the week, I'm in Regent's Park at 6:30 in the morning, and other days I could be out at 10 o'clock at night letting the dog out. I've got a few clients who, work in the pub industry, so they work late hours. So I try and offer my services outside of the standard time for the convenience of my clients. Also, I like to say I'm very green, so because I cycle my bike everywhere. And yeah, I think generally just this one-on-one kind of level of care and attention. I'm very careful to interview my clients and meet their new dogs before we go out. And I will only walk them on their own for the first few occasions before I introduce them to anyone else. So I have to carefully tailor my packs to ensure that they're all going to get on. There's not going to be any fights. There's not going to be any anxiety. They can just look forward to their hour of exercise every day.
That's brilliant. And you do home visits as well, don't you?
I do. So it's a service that I find very popular with people with new puppies. I will pop in mid-morning, check in on the dog, make sure that she's okay, take her out for a wee, just make sure that she's got a little bit of extra attention. And then I'll again come back at lunchtime and later in the day. So if you're working longer hours in the city, you know that your dog is getting someone visiting them every couple of hours. They're not getting bored. Hopefully they're not indulging in any destructive behaviours, because dogs are kind of shown to, if dogs are left isolated for too long, then they'll often, display some negative characteristics. Yeah, this is just hopefully keeping them well socialised, making sure they get that added attention that they need.
Do you, because I know one of my colleagues, because we've got a few colleagues with pets, and one of my colleagues often has to go back to Ireland, and she's got a little cat called Messi. Would you do the same kind of home visits for cats as well?
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So I've had cats all my life. So yeah, very well. Know their needs very well. So I would do the same. I would pop in a few times a day, make sure they're all okay, make sure they've got their food. Also, happy to give any medicines they may need. Actually, quite a large part of my job is dealing with poo, actually. So yeah, I've become a bit of an expert in that area.
I love it. What would you have any tips for people at home? Because obviously at the moment there's a lot of dogs that are at home. They're not able to kind of go to regular visits to the pets, and especially I know that I speak to one of my colleagues, Sarah, every day, and her dog has now refused to walk because they've walked too much. So she's asked to see if you've got any tips on that. But let's start off with home grooming.
Yep. Okay. So one thing that's really important is that you don't attack your dog yourself with some shears. Dogs have an undercoat and they use that to regulate their body temperature both in the winter and the summer. So if you take that off, then you're going to leave your dog unfortunately quite uncomfortable. So it's best just to leave that area. Some things you can do, you can trim around their eyes if it's getting into their eyes a little bit. That's absolutely fine. You should keep a regular eye on their pads. I'll give you an example here. I do actually have my friend Bert here with me. Hi, Bert. What's this?
Hello. Hi, Bert. Hello.
If he's going to let me show you his paws. No, he's not going to let me. So it's worth checking every day their paws to ensure that there's no tangled fur around the pads, that the pads aren't too dry, that they aren't cracked. So you can trim the fur around there. There he goes, back on the floor now. Around there. Also, particularly dogs like Bert, they've got quite curly, thick fur. Sometimes gets a bit mangled around their bottoms. So you can give a little trim around there as well. Make sure you're brushing them, well, every other day or maybe every day in Bert's case. They get a lot of dirt and grime under their fur, which can react with their skin, and so it's just keeping their skin and their fur nice and healthy. So make sure you give them a good brush every day. I'd recommend a bath a week at the moment as well if you're not able to get into the groomers, to get them a big wash. And when you get them in from a walk, make sure you dry off their pads as well, so keep their pads in nice healthy condition.
Oh, that's really good advice. That's brilliant. Because I know that as well, there are a lot of, I know that there's a lot of people out there at the moment which are getting new puppies due to isolation.
Yes, yeah, this is definitely that I'm seeing.
Yeah, so I think that the advice is definitely needed at the moment as well. We've already got a few. Oh, we've got someone's commented saying, "Oh, so cute." It's very popular. We've got an office dog called Winston as well, which is Sarah's dog, and he's very, very popular within Soho. I think a lot of people know him. He's like the Soho dog.
Oh, that's amazing.
So cute.
So you did just mention about a lot of people getting dogs at the moment, and I would just say, please don't jump into any rash decisions. Anyone who's maybe feeling a bit isolated and just want a puppy for attention, just remember there's so much that goes into their care. But yeah, just no rash decisions and do your research before you get a dog.
Yeah, dogs are for life, guys, not just for isolation.
Exactly.
And how would you propose to kind of keep pets entertained?
Okay, so obviously you have your daily allowance of exercise. I do recommend taking advantage of that and taking your dog out for a good amount of exercise every day. If there's more than one person in the household, then I'd suggest splitting up your daily exercise allowance so they can get a couple of walks a day. If you're working from home, then definitely get them out for a good walk before you need to be at your desk at 9. So make sure they have a good run around, make sure they be able to get a lot of stimulation. Dogs love going out for a sniff. So it's almost as beneficial to let them walk around for an hour and have a sniff as it is, chucking a ball around and burning off energy. So ensuring that, they've burnt that energy off. It's really important to try and maintain some semblance of a routine. Dogs respond really well to a routine. So, when it is time for you to settle down and do your work, try and establish, maybe a dog area or a quiet space where they can chill out. Give them lots of toys that can keep them entertained. And another really important thing is, if it's you and the whole family in the house, lots of kids running around, make sure that you've got a nice quiet space for your dog as well. You need at least 16 hours of sleep a day, and if they don't get that, they can get quite unwell and they can get quite stressed. So it's definitely worth making sure they've got somewhere nice and quiet they can go to take themselves out of it. So yeah, lots of toys, as much exercise as possible, and if you've got a garden, then take full advantage of that. It's a very lucky position to be in, and make sure you get out with a ball and lots of play and lots of attention.
That's great, thank you. Do you what would you say, like, so obviously with Sarah, she takes him out every day, but sometimes Winston just doesn't want to walk, so she feels like she's dragging him. Should she carry on trying, like?
He's got to have his walks. I mean, it's a bit of a difficult one, really.
It's like, no, I've had enough. No.
I suppose, I mean, he must have some anxiety surrounding the walking. So I think it would be, trying your best to ensure that it's still a really happy, fun activity for him. Because, most dogs, that's the best part of their day, getting to go outside and explore. So I think lots of positive reinforcement, when you've got him on his lead and you've managed to get him outside, lots of treats, lots of, telling him what a good boy he is and stuff like that. And just try and relax him a little bit. Because it sounds like maybe he's kind of got a little bit of anxiety about being outside. So lots of treats, lots of positive reinforcement, and bring.
That's such great advice. Thank you. That's brilliant. And pets behaving badly.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain we're going to see a trend when people start returning to their offices of dogs displaying certain unwanted behaviours, and I think that's because they're going to get very used to having people around the house, and all of a sudden they're at home for however many hours a day on their own. So I think, again, establishing routines, doggy areas, and having lots of toys to redirect this negative behaviour, but also, there is a lot of really good resources out there for training. So if they are displaying a trait that, you know, isn't ideal in the house, definitely look into different training solutions for them as well. It's worth remembering that, you know, dogs are instinctual animals. They're just doing what seems natural to them. They don't necessarily know that, you know, chewing on the furniture or pooping in the living room is bad. So for us to tailor our world to them really and make it as comfortable for them as possible. So I think as long as you're really focused on these things and you're willing to work with them, then I think you'll see an improvement in the behaviours. It's also worth noting, if there is any drastic changes in your dog's behaviour, the first thing you should do is go to a vet, because some certain health issues can cause them to act out in ways that they wouldn't necessarily have done before.
That's brilliant. That's such great advice as well, because I'm sure that people are just trying to wing it, but there is advice out there. And then obviously when everyone returns to normal, Jess is here to walk your dog, because it is really difficult living in central London. I know some people that have said, I've always wanted a dog, but I just can't do it around my routine. So yeah, it's good for them to know that you are out there, and your service is available to them. Also, I know that you mentioned quite a lot, which I really like on your website, that you love it, like you like to help out vulnerable people with walking their dogs. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I offer a free or heavily discounted service to anybody who is currently physically unable to care for their dog, and that of course is extending to now where, you know, it's even more important. So I will ask if anyone does know of anyone, maybe an elderly relative or friend or neighbour, who could benefit from having someone take their dog out and about, then, you know, please let me know, because I'd be more than happy to help. And I'm also extending this offer to NHS workers, essential workers, you know, anyone who is on the front line helping us at the moment, because you're all doing such a great job.
That's really great. And you said, because I saw that you have been able to do it as well during COVID, like during the lockdown. So you were doing like, you know, picking dogs up from porches. Is that right?
Yes. So my approach has been, if they have a porch, then let the dog out there. I will bring my own leads to try and just minimize any sort of contact, and I'll pop the dog on the lead and then lead them out from there. Anyway, just to try and maintain that 2 meter distance. I know sometimes it's really difficult, but yeah, I try. At the moment, I'm minimizing contact with the dogs as well. So, you know, get the lead on, get them to the park, and then unfortunately try not to make too much of a fuss of them, because, you know, it hasn't been proven whether we can pass the virus on to the dogs, but cases have been seen. I mean, there's 26 million, 26% of households in the UK have dogs. So I think if it were a big danger, we may have seen, you know, more now. But just in case, it is definitely worth just minimizing that contact. And when you're out and about, not touching other people's dogs or anything like that.
Yeah, that's really good. Well done. Especially helping out. You also run a coffee, is it coffee morning, coffee lunch for the charity?
So I participate in a charity called Pets Against Loneliness. They do a really wonderful job. That we host coffee mornings the first Saturday of every month in Stoke Newington, and local vulnerable or, you know, more isolated residents who don't necessarily get to socialise every day come to our coffee mornings, and then other local people with dogs come along. We all bring cakes, we bring coffee, and we just sit around all morning having a chat, getting to know each other. We'll often have some entertainment. So we've had local historians come to talk to us, stuff like that. So it's a really
brilliant.
Something we're hoping to roll out across more of London as well.
That sounds fantastic. I want to come. I don't even have a dog. I used to have a turtle, but I just wanted to choose the most random pet, and I found it. I'm just going to go through a few of these questions just before. Can you see the chat as well? That's where my eyes keep reverting to.
No, I'm on the. I was on the wrong bit. I can see them
now. So Becky said, what advice would you give if your dog isn't eating? They've recently got a rescue dog and she's not eating much for us.
Okay then. I would say maybe it might be worth checking in with whoever was looking after the dog before, maybe the rescue shelter, to see what food they were eating then. Sometimes if you change the dog's diet, it can react negatively with their stomach, but dogs can be fussy, dogs can be choosy. But I would also recommend talking to your vet as well, because a lack of appetite could obviously be an indication of him being a bit poorly. It may just be that he is nervous and unsettled, being in a new surrounding. So just keep reassuring him, keep showing them that he's loved, and hopefully he'll start to pick up soon.
Oh yes, I think they've been with the family for about a week now, so it's just kind of warming up.
Take a little bit.
Alan Hume has written, my dog hates the bath and will not go in without a fight. Even then, it's for a minute at a time, which makes such a mess. Any advice on how to get him in there and happy with it?
Maybe draft in a rugby team and
I can just imagine.
Down. We did actually have this exact situation the other day. We decided to give Bert a bath. He wasn't too keen on hopping in the bath in the first place, but once we kind of flashed a few treats at him, he was putty in our hands. But he is a very easy dog. Other than just again reassuring him that it's okay, giving him lots of treats, lots of positive reinforcement, I would say that's kind of the best you can do. Some dogs will never be good bathers.
Enjoy the mess, Alan.
It's always fun when they've had enough washing. They just shake everywhere, get the whole bath completely drenched. So I mean, if you have access outdoors and a hose, sometimes it's a bit easier being able to have them on the lead and give them a wash down with the hose as well. But I personally just think it's one of those things that if you've got a dog who doesn't like it, he's always going to be difficult.
Thank you so much for joining us on here today, Jess. I feel from the comments everybody has absolutely loved you, and they love the service that you're giving. So we're really, really pleased with what you're doing. Guys, you have to check out this website. It's really funny. So it's coopdoggydog.co.uk. So it explains about Jess's services, it explains about the packages she offers, the legalities of everything, and best of all, it's Meet the Pack you have to visit, because she's kept it along the same theme. What's Bert called?
He's Bert's
Buster Rhymes. Brilliant. So original. Also, let them know about what's your Instagram?
Okay, so you can find me at London Dog Walker Coop Dog. I post lots of nonsense, lots of silly dog memes, all my goings. Yeah, gosh, can't do words now. Activities basically.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And on Facebook it's the same as well, but we'll put all in our when we post this, we'll put it all in there for everyone, so that they can just click on it and it'll be nice and easy. But thank you, stay safe. Thank you, Bert.
He's got everyone else has treats.
Brilliant sport. We really enjoyed speaking to you. Thanks for everybody that's tuned in today. You've been great. We've got another one tomorrow for our Friday. Oh, there he is. You're so cute. I love him. Oh. He's adorable. I could literally sit here all day, I swear.
We'll get a live Bert cam going.
Yes, I think we need to. But thank you so much. I think everybody's just found it very informative, and you've been absolutely brilliant. So have a lovely weekend coming up, and I hope to meet you in person soon, because we're in near King's Cross anyway. So you should bring the dogs by our office. Yes,
that would be brilliant.
Thanks everyone for joining. Have a good day.
Bye.